Mel Kiper just released his new updated big board for the 2026 NFL Draft, and best believe it, we're going to go ahead and look at that sucker. Special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. More on them a little bit later, but let's get into this sucker. I don't know if he puts 25 or 32 in his big board, but we're going to cover every player he has on it. Starting with number 1, he's got Dante Moore here at number 1, quarterback out of Oregon. And I'm just going to say this. I'm still tossing and turning at night trying to figure out, man, what quarterback am I going to have for my midseason rankings at 1? I'm stuck between 3 right now. And I'll say this for sure. I ain't going to have a quarterback number 1 on my big board. I might not have a quarterback at number 2, but quarterback being the most valuable position in the NFL, that sucker's going to get shot to first overall pick. That's just usually how it works. Dante Moore coming off probably his least impressive game of the year against Indiana. To be fair, it's not like Fernando Mendoza looked that much better in that game. It was kind of a tale of just the inefficiency of the Oregon offense. And it just wasn't all on Moore, but just how crazy that Indiana defense was. But Moore, realistically, I don't think Moore comes out. I think he's going to start another year and come out in the 2027 class, which just lines up with all kinds of problems. Like, oh my gosh, what are we going to be doing with quarterback in the 2026 class? It's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's see who he has a number. Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. Golly, listen, I'm coming back around to running backs. I think it started with like Bijan, and I had Bijan in my top 20 because typically I was like, hey, you just don't take running back early, but the pendulum's swinging the other way when it comes to the NFL, and running backs are becoming more valuable. I had Ashton Genty, I think, inside my top 5, for sure, top 10. But even to start with my summer scouting last year, he was a top 15 to 20 player for me. That's huge. I don't think I will ever put a running back in my top 3. I just don't. And Jeremiah Love, I like Love. He's kind of a physical specimen. He's big and he's fast, but I don't think he's the caliber of prospect that guys like Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson were. Top 20 player, probably, especially in this class. Don't know about number 2. Kind of wild. At number 3, it's another quarterback value. It's just through the roof. Even when the stock is plummeting, they're going to go high. They just are. Fernando Mendoza was also the quarterback in that matchup with Dante Moore. I like Mendoza, but there's just not an it factor with him. He just comes in, he's like, hey, I'll just run this offense hella good. And that's kind of what he's been doing there with the Indiana and Kurt Signetti. He's got an NFL quality arm. He's got prototypical size at 6'5", 225 pounds. But again, there's just not really it factor for me. Like, I don't think when things break down, I don't really see him do much of anything special. But honestly, when it comes to the NFL, you just want a guy that could come in and make all the throws and plays efficiently. That's kind of Mendoza. Ignore the pick 6 against Oregon. All right. What do we got at 4? Linebacker. Position value. Be darned. Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. I expected people to put him in their top 10s. I think the combination of it being a stacked linebacker class and linebacker just being a less valuable position when it comes to the draft, not when it comes to the NFL, but when it comes to the draft, I don't think I'm going to have him in my top 10. 4, that's kind of nuts. Ooh. But man, he's come out of nowhere, man. He's been freaking phenomenal. But of course, before we get into whoever's number 5, let's talk about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you download the app, you gotta sign up with promo code Broshmo because they match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues. It's the best place for weekly best ball or higher or lower on player stats. You want to get in on that action? That's right, you sitting down right there. If you want to get in on the action, download Underdog Fantasy. Don't forget, it's promo code Broshmo. But as always, play responsibly, play within your means. Okay, who do we got at 5? Peter Woods. Man, is what Mel is trying to tell us right now that this is a class that just doesn't have a lot of blue chip players, or at least quality players, elite players at positions of value? Ruben Bain should be in your top 5. I don't care who you are. If he's not in your top 5, I don't know what you've been watching this year. Peter Woods, he's a guy you could easily go look at the stats and be like, he hasn't been all that good. You watch the tape, and he's still hell of athletic. He's a disruptor. Kind of like toss and turn if he's going to be a blue chip guy for me or not. I think he is, just because when you're that caliber athlete at his size, how can you not be? We've seen the production in the past, but yeah, man, him ahead of Ruben Bain, that's something. That's something. Number 6, Makai Lemon. Okay, I don't hate this one as much. Not that I hated the others, but still no Ruben Bain's kind of nuts. Jordan Tyson being, I assume, wide receiver 2, I guess, for Mel. But I love Makai Lemon. I'm a sucker for a receiver with good yak. Good yards after catch, yards after contact ability. And Lemon might have the best in this class. I think he currently leads all of college football in forced missed tackles. I think he's been the, at least from a statistics, a production standpoint, he's probably been the best wide receiver in college football. I don't think I'm going to be afraid of putting him in my top 10. When we get there, we'll see. But man, I like it. I wonder how far he's got Jordan Tyson. Well, finally, a name that a lot of us expected. It's Caleb Downs here at 7. Safety position. One of probably, I would say, one of the toughest positions to kind of evaluate, just because like you go through a lot of their tape and it's a lot of do nothing. But you're looking for those plays where they truly stand out, and Downs, he just has a ton of that. Phenomenal, but because of the safety position, it's a less valuable position, so it's going to get knocked down the board. I still think Downs is a guy that should go top 10. He's at least going to go, I think, in my opinion, top 15, just because of the safety position. But yeah, Downs is freaking phenomenal. Fun fact, also brings some return capabilities. All right, who do we got? Jordan Tyson. Okay, wide receiver out of Arizona State, coming here at number 8. I'm going to have to read what Mel has against Ruben Bain at this juncture, because I think him not being named already is kind of wild. But to each their own. I love Jordan Tyson. I think he's probably going to be my wide receiver 1. I think Carnell Tate and Makai Lemon have definitely shrinked the distance between them and Tyson, but Tyson's it's kind of a different animal at 6'2", 200 pounds, phenomenal ball skills, understands. Route running, might be the best route runner in this class. Just phenomenal. All right. Okay, thank goodness. Number 9, it had to be Ruben Bain. If it was anyone else, I might flip my lid. Let's read this actually. So, Bain is powerful and has really strong hands. He routinely gets the best of some very good offensive tackles, often with his dominant rip move. He knows every trick in the book and getting, okay, I want to know, why do you hate him? But even with all those A-level traits, it's actually Bane's hustle that really stood out to me. Never takes a play off, blah, blah, blah. His arms are shorter than most scouts prefer, but there's so much to like about it in his game. Do you not have him in your top 5 because he's got shorter arms? That's kind of stupid. No shots. I love Mel Kiper, but I don't know about that. Spencer Fano ends up being the first offensive lineman, first tackle for Mel on this list here at number 10. If you've checked out my mock drafts, you know I'm kind of a mark for my boy out of the U, Francis Mauigoa. But I get it if you like Fano, elite movement skills for the position. He's gonna probably not have ideal arm length, so we're gonna be yet again back-to-back drafts. Question: is this guy a tackle or a guard at the NFL? Does it really matter? He's so athletic. Let's put him on an island anyway. And I say, hell yeah. It's worked thus far with Will Campbell. But yeah, you're gonna have Mauigoa and Fano kind of face those criticisms. But before we get into pick 10, we're checking out Mel Kiper's big board. But what about my big board? I haven't made it yet, but I have been updating my prospect rankings for my mid-season prospect videos. And on the day that you're viewing this, I'm going over edge, which is the last position group I'm going through. And then I'm going to start pumping these babies out. So here's a nice, beautiful promo for my draft guide. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. At number 11, we have Keldrick Folk out of Auburn. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. So he's a big boy. He's got great length, great strength. He's a very high floor player in terms of he's going to come into the NFL and probably be one of the better run defenders in the league. However, we did see a jump in his pass rush production this year. I don't know if it's so much of a jump that it gets him into that top 10 stats, because at the end of the day, I think we're still working with tools here when it comes to Folk. But he should end up being like a top 20, top 25 player. At number 12, Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Man, he's been hot recently. He's been hot. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think I like him a little bit better than Emeka Ibuka. I'm probably gonna have him a little higher than JSN. And to be fair, with JSN, a lot of that was the soft tissue injury that knocked him down my board. But man, Tate's been very impressive. He really, really has. Very smooth route runner. You have to be when you're playing receiver there for Brian Hartline. So I don't mind it. I like it. Number 13, it's Jermod McCoy. First corner coming off Mel Kiper's board here, I suppose. Yeah, we haven't seen him play here, so a lot of people are just going to be like, okay, wherever I had him over summer, let's say he ends up not playing this year, he's coming back from the ACL in January, then you're going to have him somewhere in the first round just because his tape from last year was just so good. I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating. I feel like you have to keep him in your top 15 if that's where you had him coming into the year. 14, Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. Some people have been a little disappointed with his performance thus far this season. Not performance, but just the production. They kind of expected him to explode a little bit more onto the scene, but the numbers are fine. Through 6 games, 225 yards. I mean, he's probably going to be on pace for being around 450, 500 yards. That's pretty solid for a tight end. Tight ends, they're just not going to have crazy receiving yard stats. You know, they're going to be more than that because, again, it's a tight end position. I wish they would use him more in the short to intermediate or the screen game specifically, so we can see that after the catch potential that we saw last season. I think a lot of that is just kind of the growing pains Oregon's going through offensively right now. But Sadiq at 14, I think that's a little high for me. But I mean, I don't fault it. I'm a big sucker for Sadiq. At 15, TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson. So Parker kind of falls in a similar bucket as Peter Woods, the defensive interior from Clemson, where he didn't take that necessary jump in production, but you go to his film and a lot of it's what you saw last season from him. It's like, oh, okay, just because he didn't take that necessary jump. And I firmly think Peter Woods has a much higher ceiling. It's just Parker. I think he's got a reasonable floor that he can be the Robin to someone's Batman in the NFL. He might not have like elite play strength, elite get off, or cornering ability, but they're all good. He doesn't really have that thing he could hang his hat on and say, I do this better than anyone else. He just does a lot of things good and well. He's got a deep bag, a pass rush move. So Parker's going to be a tricky one. It's like, you want to have him kind of in the first round area, but how many edges are you going to have ahead of him? Again, that's a problem I'm going to have to worry about today. So guess we'll just figure it out. 16, Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. Listen, Simpson's playing nutty, dude. He might have the best quarterback play of anyone this year. It's just you might like the traits, let's say the tools of other players, or you might be like, well, these players have a little bit more experience under their belt. Simpson, we have a very small sample size of. But you look at this cat, and he is already, I would say, operating that offense like you would expect an NFL quarterback to. I mean, calling out your own protections, audibling at the line. It's like, yeah, college quarterbacks don't do that. Or at least not as often as Simpson. They must have a lot of faith in him. A guy that sat back, could have transferred and started somewhere else, but waited his turn. And now that he's getting it, he's looking good. I think 16 is actually not a bad spot for him because, I mean, if he goes out and just looks really good against Tennessee, you can't really deny him as a guy you could take at the back half of the first round. Like I currently have him around the top 50 fringe first round, but I mean, an impressive game against Tennessee, and it's like at some point it's like, guys, Ty Simpson's just a good quarterback that might be ready sooner rather than later. I say pick, but number 17 on the big board here, Avion Terrell, corner out of Clemson. He's actually having a pretty solid year. I just get, like, because of his size, he just screams, oh, he's probably more of a slot at the NFL. There's some schemes out there like a Raheem Morris or is it Chris Shula, the DC of the Rams, who don't mind having smaller corners on the outside, especially, I mean, a guy like Terrell, he's feisty. You could say that with Jeff Hafley in Green Bay. So there's certainly going to be specific teams that don't mind taking a shot on him in the first. It's just he's not going to be for everybody. All right, number 8. Oh, I forgot. Francis Mauigoa wasn't even off Mel's big board yet. I think Mel just hates Miami players. I think this is a cold hard fact. Mauigoa has, I think, played the best of any of the offensive tackles in this class. You're going to question his length. That's fine. Maybe you question his finishing mentality, but I think he shows good physicality as a pass protector. He's shown that strength. He plays in a very gap-heavy scheme in Miami where you're going to have to drive block a lot, and I think he does that well. So, and he's already a great athlete. So, yeah, I'm a sucker for Mauigoa. He's kind of my guy. Number 19, Amari Washington, defensive interior out of Oregon. I feel like he's a year away. A lot of the reasons that I liked Daryl Jackson out of Florida State, the nose tackle there, coming into the year, is a lot of the same reasons that people are liking Mari Washington right now. It's just you feel like Jackson never took that next step to where it's like, oh, watch out, man. This dude, first rounder. I don't think Jackson's ever taken that step. Washington, he's kind of looking like what Jackson looks like right now. And he's much younger. He's kind of a freak, moves exceptionally well at 330. It's kind of nuts. At 19, though, feels a bit rich. David Bailey, there we go. He's coming here at 20. I like David Bailey, man. I really do. To hell with his length. The man gets after it. He's stupid explosive. Great first step. No gloves, no pads. Never needed them, never wanted them. He just gets after the quarterback. I think he has the most pressures currently in college football. He just gets after it. If you watched my stock report video yesterday, I still brought up, hey man, play strength. It's just going to be a struggle with his lack of length and at 250. Like there was an instance in the Kansas game where he got double teamed and he was pushed back 6-7 yards. But even in the midst of, I would consider this a negative rep from him, he ends up recovering a fumble on that rep. And it's like, well, shoot. Man had a turnover on probably his worst rep of the game. Kind of nuts. He has gone from undesirable to undeniable Cody Rhodes. Lenora Sellers coming here at 21. Man, I'm having a hard time not making him my quarterback one. Just because, listen, his offensive line situation has sucked. It has been the worst. Has he been perfect? No. I talk about it in my stock report video this week where it's like, he's late on anticipating some stuff still. Not complete as a passer, but also he's dealing with some terrible situations when it comes to the offensive line being put under pressure immediately. He was under pressure in that LSU game on 26 of his 40 dropbacks. Let me just do some quick maths. Let's take a gander here. Let's pull out the calculator. And 65% of his snaps, he was pressured. Just can't survive as a quarterback like that. And he's been trying to do a lot of it like, okay, I guess I got to make something from nothing with my feet, but he just doesn't have the room. And I mean, to be fair, he's ripped off some 8-10 yard games where it's like, wow, really turned what should have been worst case scenario, sack, strip sack, less worse scenario, just throwing the ball away, killing it down, into an actual positive play, but does need to continue to progress as a passer. It's kind of hard in that situation, unfortunately. So, I mean, he could end up returning and maybe even transferring, find himself a coach or even just a better situation to develop in. Zachariah Branch, wide receiver out of Georgia. Well, hello. Look at you coming here at 22. Oh, I feel like Taylor Swift. I'm feeling 22. Man, he's undersized, which, hey, that's going to be tough. Stinking Mel Kiper, it reminds me of Zay Flowers, who you look at in the NFL and it's like, he's like a low-end wide receiver one. I don't think you want to take a low-end wide receiver one. Maybe in round one, at least ideally you don't want to. But I think Branch, he's probably pigeonholed in the slot. But if you have a very innovative offensive mind, whether it's at coach or at coordinator, then Branch is a hell of a good player to have. I still like him better day two. He's another guy that's he's a third-year player. He could definitely return to Georgia and be okay. But he's kind of helped give a little life to that Georgia offense that's just kind of been meh this year. 23, it's another Georgia player. It's C.J. Allen, linebacker. This is a good linebacker class. C.J. Allen, where he's improved is in coverage. That was kind of my biggest gripe with him coming into the year. And he's been good in coverage. He has been good. He's shown, hey, I'm not just a minimal gain guy that might occasionally miss a tackle and give up a chunk play. No, I'm making plays in coverage. 3 pass breakups thus far this season. Chewy, hell yeah, man. This linebacker class is so fun. I wonder if we're gonna see another linebacker come off, I guess, the big board here. Because Sonny Styles is really nice. So you're gonna have some people still in the Anthony. Is it Anthony Walker? Anthony Hill. There we go. Anthony Hill camp. I like Anthony Hill. I think I like him top 50. I don't know about first round, especially if you've seen a couple of linebackers already come off the board. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on him. I'd be like, listen, it's a deep class. Let's just go find someone else. But Allen's good, man. He's good. Jacoby Lane, wide receiver out of USC, coming here at 24, 6'4", 200 pounds. He's kind of a prototypical possession wide receiver. I don't think he's got crazy athleticism. He's pretty smooth as a route runner. You could see that on, I think it was the first touchdown for USC this past week against Michigan. But I don't think he does enough for me that warrants a first round selection. I mean, I've popped him up my big boards, or I moved him up my rankings and my big board, but not to like this great of a degree, because there's a few possession wide receivers in here that have just been a little bit more productive than him, in my opinion. At 25, Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. No Trevor Gooseby? Yo, come on. What are we doing here? Some view Proctor as a guard. I get that. To me, he's got the length and the size and honestly the movement skills. Moves exceptionally well at 366. But again, that's for 366. But he moves well enough to where I'm like, no, try this dude at tackle. If he ends up not playing well, move him into guard. I kind of have a bias against tall guards, specifically as pass protectors, because, well, NFL quarterbacks have gone shorter over the last 20 years. So having your interior players being tall, it's not going to be for every team. It's just not. If you got Bryce Young, you got Kyler Murray, but you really want a guard, Proctor's not going to be a guard for you. He's just not. He's just not. All right, let's see. Do we have more big board from him? No, he only did 25. Well, I'm going to give you 100 in a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll go 150. Maybe I'll go 150. I don't know. If you already have the draft guide, then you're going to see I'll probably rank up to 200 people there, prospects there. But I guess before we leave, give you a little teaser, because Kiper did put out his position rankings. I don't want to show everything, but let's look at quarterback, because golly, no one knows how they feel about, well, they know how they feel about quarterback. They just don't know where they would want to take these quarterbacks. So we already knew where Moore, Mendoza, Simpson, and Sellers were. He has John Mateer at 5. To me, Mateer just has an it factor to him that kind of pushes him up my board. I think he will be better when he is fully healthy and just back into the flow of things. Keep in mind, he's missed like 3 weeks. Through 2.5 weeks, coming back from the surgery he had on his throwing hand for a broken bone. So that's kind of big. He's got Carson Beck, Garrett Nussmeier. It warms my heart seeing Carson Beck there. I'm a big Miami fan. Nuss, man. I know he's been going through the core injury, but listen, having a messed up core doesn't cause you to throw into double and triple coverage. Jaden Mayava, I don't think comes out. He's got an extra year of eligibility. I think he might stick around there with Lincoln Riley, but he is definitely a fascinating prospect. 6'4", like 230, so he's thick. He can move. for the most part, has been a good decision maker. There, he had a boneheaded throw. I don't know what he was doing in the Michigan game where he was rolling out to the sideline and he kind of lost one out. At first, I was like, okay, is he just lofting it out of bounds? But no, I think he was trying to hit either. I think it was Lake McCree. I forgot what pass catcher was behind, but he had Mekhi Lemon also underneath. So I don't know if he was trying to loft it up to Lemon and just overshot it, or he undershot it to the pass catcher behind Lemon. Ended up being a pick. Woof is what it is, but he is definitely an interesting prospect. Drew Aller, it's been an unfortunate case. It kind of is what it is. This play hasn't really improved since last season. Hadn't stepped up in the big time moments. Him or James Franklin. James Franklin getting fired for that. Because now it's not just, oh, we don't step up in the big time moments. Now we're losing the games. We always win. So it's kind of a sucky situation. But Aller now out for the rest of the year. Doesn't really have a chance to help like kind of change the narrative on him. Just being a guy that can't throw with touch. That's just inconsistent as a passer. And just doesn't bring that gravitas to win in big time moments. It's kind of unfortunate. But if you want to check out Mel's full big board, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing as always. Until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.